Well, hello there, everyone. It's great to be back on YourTV as I provide an update for the City of Belleville as we deal with these COVID-19 times. This update is for the week of January the 25th. And the week of January the 25th is also the one-year anniversary from when the first person in Ontario presented to a hospital with the COVID-19 virus. And what a year it has been. We have seen so much that we weren't expecting. We were certainly surprised at how long this event has taken. But it's really been so inspiring to see how we are getting through it. And getting through it, we are. And we have lots of reason to be optimistic. And I'll speak a little bit about that later on as we talk about vaccination. I appreciate the fact that this has not been easy for any of us. But it has tested us, and we are doing really well, and we can see light at the end of the tunnel. This week in our Hastings and Prince Edward Health Unit region, we are seeing some excellent numbers. Not only is testing continuing to be in large numbers, but we also dropped down to only 18 active cases. That is, I think we had 4 days, of which we only had one case in those 4 days. So those are excellent numbers. Statistically, if you look at the previous color coding chart, the green, yellow, orange, red, and gray, that would put us in the green zone. And that is great news for us as we look at the current province-wide restrictions coming down or being removed for our region sometime around February the 10th. And I hope that we'll be able to return back to that color-coded breakdown, which will mean that we will be in that, we were in yellow before we went into the province-wide shutdown. We would be back into that green zone, allowing us to have a lot more freedoms and a lot less restrictions. So continue to practice those good habits that we know are so important. Washing your hands frequently, socially distancing from people when you are out, and if you can't socially distance, wear a mask, and to wear a mask when you're indoors. And also not to have unnecessary travel. The province has a stay-at-home directive in place right now, and I know a lot of people are respecting it, and I just want to say thank you so very much. I think that's the reason why our numbers are getting so much better, and we will get out of this as soon as we can. As I said, I have February the 10th circled on my calendar because it is a big day for us, and I'm looking forward to that. In terms of vaccinations, last week we had some terrific news of vaccinations here in our city. It started with the Westgate Lodge on Dundas Street, and then we also had the Hastings Manor that are run by the Hastings County for the City of Belleville. Both those sites had vaccinations, and so we're about 400 residents, staff members, and hospital workers have gotten the vaccine in our region. So that's wonderful news to have that rollout. And I certainly want to thank Daryl Cramp and Todd Smith, our members of Provincial Parliament, for their assistance in having that vaccine administered locally. Over the coming weeks, they will continue to deal with long-term care residents, as well as employees in long-term care and our healthcare workers. And then we will be looking at having vaccinations for the general public. So this week at Belleville City Council, we made available the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, a rink at that facility for a site for mass vaccinations. This is, it'll be one of the arenas. The reasons why it's a great spot for it is because it's on public transit in terms of buses go to the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. We have plenty of parking for people who will go there on their own. We have a facility that can be separated from the rest of the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, so you can enter and exit from that arena on your own. It is fully accessible for people who have mobility challenges, and it is fully serviced. So there's washrooms in there and lots of space. Which is most important for folks. So that mass inoculation process will be run or administered by the Hastings and Prince Edward Health Unit. And we've made that facility available starting in March, when we expect to have those vaccines rolled out to the general public. But if they should get some vaccines earlier, we're prepared to make that facility available to them earlier as well. So we expect it to run through March, right through the summer, and up until the long weekend in September. We have lots of folks that need to have the vaccine, and we want to do a good job. So we're looking forward to it. And I know that residents are proud that the City of Belleville and the resources we have are being put towards that. There was a council meeting this week, and a lot of business was taken. I want to start off with some really good news. Victoria Harbour is now open as of Monday, January the 25th. Ice skating is in on those areas. I asked residents to watch for the signs that are up there talking about where you can skate, and only skate on the cleared areas. So our staff are measuring the ice thickness, and then we will also now be making sure that the ice is finished for skating and is flooded. That'll go on as long as it is safe. I just want to remind everybody to stay off the rest of the ice. The rest of the ice in the harbor, but also in the bay. It is still very dangerous. Let's be safe. We've already had one unfortunate fatality this year, and we don't want to see any more. But I know that a lot of people are looking forward to it. The weather has been good, and I think we're going to see a couple more really colder days this week for us. So be safe and stay off the ice that is not opened up for everybody. Also at council, we made an announcement that we've sold the former Ben Bleecker site. So the property on the northeast corner of the Sydney Street and Bridge Street West intersections, where the old Ben Bleecker building and the lawn bowling club was, that has been sold. We sold it to two companies. We're going to separate that into two sides, the north portion and the south portion. Dash Mesh Holdings has purchased the northern part, and they are going to be building apartment buildings there for rental. You may know Dash Mesh Holdings because they are the ones that are building the current Arabella retirement home on Dundas Street. And they're local property owners here in Belleville, and we're really pleased that they are moving forward to provide this much needed rental housing in our market. On the south side of that property, closer to Bridge Street, a company called Golmanco Incorporated has bought that property, and they are very familiar to us as well. They own the Loyalist Plaza across the street. It's on the southwest corner of Sydney Street and Bridge Street, where the Shoppers Drug Mart is. And they will be building on that site some type of a restaurant operation, as well as a grocery store. And we have heard loud and clear from residents in that area that they want to have those services. And we're really pleased that this company that has property holdings across Ontario and Atlantic Canada, with many grocery stores in their portfolio, will be doing this project. There still are some work to be done for the city. We have to sever that and register the severances, and also rezone it for these uses because right now they're not permitted. But we've given that undertaking, and we're looking forward to having those projects start sometime this year. Also, in light of the second wave of the pandemic with COVID-19, we have made the decision to defer some of the tax installment dates. So normally at the end of February, residents will be required to make their quarterly installment if that's how you pay. And then also at the end of April, you would have your second installment for the year 2021. We have pushed both those installment dates back by a month. So the February installment will be due at the end of March, and the April installment will be due at the end of May. And we're doing this to help our residents and our businesses who are impacted by this province-wide shutdown, to try to help you with your cash flow. So, we did this last spring when the pandemic first surfaced, and we're doing it again. And I want to thank council for that support. And certainly if you can afford to pay your taxes because you haven't been impacted like some on the regular time, we'd appreciate that. We need those funds to do the work of the city. But if you cannot, there will not be penalties, there will not be interest charged for that additional 2-month period. So we hope that residents will take advantage of it if they can use it. We also had some good news. Yesterday, Belleville City Council filled the vacant council seat that opened up with the death of former councillor Pat Culhane. Tyler Allsap will be sworn in either on February 8th or shortly before that, 2021, in order to be able to participate in that February 8th council meeting, which will be the next one. I called Tyler and congratulated him and welcomed him to the Belleville City Council team. He is going to have a rapid learning curve over the next little while as he goes through the orientation process and all the what we call the onboarding activities. But I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Allsap and looking forward to, after the swearing in, calling him Councillor Allsap. And the last item I just want to touch on today is some great news. Last week, I had the pleasure of going to Grayson and providing another donation from the City of Belleville to that homeless shelter, this time for $50,000. This brings us up to about $146,000 in cash that we've contributed to the Grace Inn shelter over the last couple of years. And we have another donation of $50,000 scheduled for next January. This is, they're providing such an important service, and it's such a difficult time for all of us with COVID, but you can imagine dealing with folks in that shelter who may have a number of afflictions, not just health, but also, you know, mental health and their, and depression and all the things that come with dealing with the vulnerable portion of our population. And I just want to say thank you to the folks that run the Grayson shelter. Here's a picture of myself with Rob Crisp, the executive director, where I presented that check. And it was really a great day for the City of Belleville. The warming center continues to be open for those who either don't wish to use other emergency housing services or aren't able to. And that continues to operate. This week, we will have it open, I think, most of the week because the temperatures are forecast to be quite cold. And so I want to thank all the staff that are working there. And lastly, next week, I'll have a picture I can share with you and some good news about the city's contribution to the Hospice Quinte and the build of that facility, which is really, really important for our community. So with that, I will say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to YourTV for providing me with this opportunity. Of course, you can always get in touch with me and my office, and also all members of City Council by going to the belleville.ca website and looking for our telephone numbers and our email addresses, and however you wish to get in touch. We always look forward to hearing from residents. And if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know. You can always also go to the City of Belleville website to look for the YouTube channel, where all of our meetings of Belleville City Council that you may not catch on YourTV when they broadcast and rebroadcast them, but also my videos that I do every week, not just on YourTV, but on my mayoral Facebook page, providing updates for residents in the City of Belleville. Until next week, stay safe, and I appreciate the support that all residents are providing to the staff and council for the City of Belleville.